So today I'm going to be catching one of Irish Rail's intercity trains across to Galway, and I'm looking forward to the journey. Obviously for me the first time I've been on an Irish train, and also the first time, although I've been to Dublin a few times, often for work, I've never actually strayed out of the capital, so it would be lovely to see Galway and have a taste of what the rest of Ireland has to offer. Well, just like me, many passengers will arrive at the eastern entrance to the station aboard the tram, which was opened in 2004. The station was originally opened by the Great Southern and Western Railway in 1846, originally called Kingsbridge Station. It was subsequently renamed in 1966 to honour Sean Heuston, who was a young railway worker from the station who commanded a nearby post in the 1916 Easter Rising. Heuston was one of the 16 leaders of the Easter Rising who were executed by the then British administration. There's a decent selection of shops and eateries here, which is handy as my train will not feature any catering. One thing we've not seen yet is a ticket office. However, as we walk through, it all begins to make some sense. Because on our left, adjacent to platform 2, on the south side of the building, is the ticket office, and stepping outside, we soon see that with its porte cochere, this was actually the main entrance for many passengers back in the day. And as we re-enter the station, we get a lovely view of this wonderful old booking hall. Also to my left, there's a handy map here on the wall, so let's just pause for a moment and consider our route for today. We'll leave Dublin Heuston westbound and travel non-stop to Portarlington, and then from there we'll be making stops through Athlone until we eventually make our way into Galway. Today's journey will take us 2 hours and 24 minutes to complete the 203-kilometre distance. We've still got a little time to have a look at the north side of the station, which is near the River Liffey. The station was upgraded between 2002 and 2004 to provide these additional north side platforms. Near these platforms are also some automated ticketing machines and some vending machines. My train is now due to depart, so let's get ourselves back to platform 3. As we've already seen from the map, Heuston provides not only local commuter services but also longer distance trains to the northwest, the west and the south of the country. Even though I booked in advance and bought my ticket via the Irish Rail app on my phone, I still had to enter the booking reference and collect a paper ticket from one of the ticket machines. And here's our ride for today, a Class 22,000 DMU. These DMUs are very much the workhorses of Irish Rail's intercity services, with 63 train sets currently in operation. Our neighbour on platform 4 is the Dublin to Cork Push-Pull Express. When I return to Ireland, I will definitely give them a go. Right, let's hop on board and see what the accommodation is like. The train is standard class throughout. Time for a very brief seat tour. Well, the tray table's okay, although this particular seat back is also looking a bit grimy. There's plenty of very spacious luggage racks above the seats, and the lighting isn't too garish. There's also 3-pin plugs and a couple of USB charge points. And spot on 15:35, we depart on time. Up at the front of the Cork train is the Class 201 locomotive doing the pulling. At the western end of the station is the Rotem train care and train preparation depot.
I'd like to welcome on board the 1535 from Dublin to Galway, stopping at Portarlington, Tullamore, Kildare, Athlone, Athlone, Woodlawn, Athenry.
And soon we're speeding our way through the suburbs of Dublin. Currently we're enjoying the multiple tracks of the approach to Dublin, line speeds being between 145 and 160 kilometers per hour. At this point in the journey, the ride was very good. although there was a fair bit of engine noise. But for me there was nothing for it but to just relax and watch the Irish countryside speeding by. For standard class, the leather effect seats were very comfortable, and the central armrest was that little bit wider to accommodate maybe 2 elbows. Having a closer look at the power supply, the power breaker trips aren't something I'm used to seeing in the UK. And we've been travelling for 40 minutes before we reach our first stop at Portarlington. It's here that we leave the Dublin-Cork main line and head off northwest to Athlone on a single track line. Tullamore is probably most famous for the Irish whiskey that is produced in the town. It's great to see at most of the stations the original 19th century footbridge is still in place, but with the addition of a modern step-free access too. Judging by the size of this car park, I'd say that Tullamore, which is about an hour from Dublin, attracts a significant number of commuters. Clara looks to be a beautiful little station. And despite it being single track, we're still making pretty good speed here. And it's at Athlone we pass over the River Shannon, a river I'll be destined to meet again in a couple of days when I get to Limerick. And just beyond the Shannon is Athlone Midland Station, which was closed in 1984. And it's just beyond Athlone Midland that the line for Westport and Ballina diverges and we continue westbound to Galway. Athenry has a castle that was built in the 13th century, and the medieval walls around the town are amongst the most complete and best preserved in Ireland. And it's at Athenry that we pass the 1741 eastbound service to Dublin, which is spot on time. There's not the greatest view of the loch there. The weather really has turned dreadful. But soon we're passing over the bridge at the mouth of the loch and making our approaches to Galway station. And we arrive in Galway on time, if a little damp. So the cost of this trip, I bought in advance on Irish Rail's app and paid €15.99 for what they call a standard flexible ticket. And if you've enjoyed this little trip across Ireland, then please give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel. I release a video every Friday. Until the next time, thank you very much for watching, and I'll leave you from a rather wet and bedraggled Galway.